Anybody watching the news today, well, in recent times, knows about the males competing against females in women's sports. California has become one of those states that is a battleground for this issue. Well, Taylor Starling and her father have been fighting this entire situation. As a matter of fact, Taylor Starling is suing California after losing her spot on the varsity to a trans identified male. To add to the insanity, after her and some of her teammates wore Save Girls Sports and XX is not equal to XY shirts to protest, their school labeled the shirts hostile and compared them to swastikas. Yes, this is what is being said, and it's just idiotic. It gets to the point where you have to wonder, when are we going to stop with this and have actual conversation? Well, we're not. That's the problem with the left anymore. I wish it wasn't the case, but that is the case. But I want you to hear the Starlings talk about what they've gone through so far. And this is from a Fox News interview, so I got a clip of that.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Today, a biological male is scheduled to compete in California's high school track and field championships as the DOJ investigates the state to determine if they violated Title IX for allowing biological males to compete in women's sports. Our next guest filed her own federal lawsuit after she lost her varsity cross-country spot to a trans athlete. Joining us now is high school cross-country athlete Taylor Starling with her father, Ryan Starling, and their attorney, Julianne Fleischer. Thank you all for joining us, and especially you, Taylor. Now, I want to, you've obviously devoted much of your young life to running. What is it like to go out and compete at something you're very good at and you've really spent a lot of time becoming better at, and then you wind up competing against a biological male?
It's just sad to see that these boys are taking girls their fairness in sports away from them, because women 50 years have fought for their rights, and it's being taken away by these guys that are taking away girls' awards, their medals, they're taking away their spots, and it's just not fair, and it's just so sad to see that this is what me, a 16-year-old girl, has to fight for all those women.
You might be 16, but you are wise beyond your years. So, Ryan, what's it like to be a dad and to realize that your daughter is up against all these huge institutions that don't seem to have any problem whatsoever with this level of unfairness?
I couldn't be more proud. I mean, a 15 and a 16-year-old girl stood up and wore these shirts and were compared to a Nazi by their athletic director. And they continued to push forward and fight for fairness in girls' sports. I mean, that takes courageous. I wish Governor Gavin Newsom could have that much courage. He recently said that this is unfair, but he just keeps giving us lip service and won't act on it. He has the power right now to act on this, and he won't. He has the executive orders, but he won't. And we're on the verge of losing $170 billion in academics money for other institutions in education in California. It's just crazy. There's biological boys and there's biological girls. It's fairness. It's safety for these girls. It's hard to see as a dad that he's not putting safety first.
So, Julianne, I want to ask you about what Ryan just mentioned there. You know, obviously, we are getting a lot of lip service from politicians, most especially from Gavin Newsom, talking about how it is indeed unfair. Explain to us the legal situation in terms of where some of these cases are going, and how they might get resolved.
Yeah, you know what? It is just as Ryan said. It is lip service. You're either against boys being on girls' sports or competing with girls, or you're not. You can't stay on the sideline for this. And with the recent DOJ investigation, that's huge. And for months now, both CIF, the state of California, the governor have been on notice that what they're doing is they're violating federal law. They're violating the executive orders that this administration has put forth. They're violating the protections that are afforded by Title IX. And so the Department of Justice is letting the state know that they're on notice. Just this week, the Department of Justice filed a statement of interest in Taylor's lawsuit, in which we're suing the state of California for its Title IX violations. And the Department of Justice filed this statement of interest and said, we have an invested interest in this. Boys do not belong in girls' sports. And so, just as Ryan said, the governor has the authority to take action, right. But he's choosing to stay on the sideline, and that's not acceptable.
Right. Well, just to be clear, we reach out to Taylor Starling School District, Riverside Unified, for a statement on this, and they have failed to get back. If they do, we'll let you know. Taylor, Ryan, and Julianne, thank you so much, but especially you, Taylor, and good luck with the track meet and going forward. You're a wise young lady.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Now, something that I've been around the LGBT community before it was even had the plus on there. And now it's added the Q whatever. And as a matter of fact, I recently saw an interview. I was actually stunned when I saw this, when I saw the thumbnail for it. The thumbnail of the person that was getting interviewed, I was like, I know this person. I was like, holy cow, I know this person. Because this is one of the transgender people that I used to know. Now, me and this particular person quit talking to each other because I didn't want to. I said that the term cisgender was made up. And it got it into a heated argument that led to them unfriending me on every platform that we were friends on. And listening to what the Starlings are going through reminds me of dealing with Ari's evolving mental status on these things. Now, Ari didn't share, I guess he's trying to detransition. He can't go all the way now because, well, he had surgeries that were permanent. And the transitioning didn't start when he was a child. No, the reason why is because of the reason why I can't tell you. Sorry, I just thought of that. He started when he was an adult. And he was convinced that he would stop being suicidal. He actually was convinced of this, and medical professionals actually said this will help you. That if he cut off certain parts of his body, that he would stop feeling suicidal. This is no joke. This is what was actually told to him. Well, he went through all that, spent years on hormones and everything, and I listened to this interview because we still haven't spoken. I don't think that there is a way for us to speak anymore, and kind of sad. They were a sweet person, one of the sweeter people that I've known in my life when everything was going good for them. Ari has since gotten married to a guy and realized that, well, he was just gay. He wasn't needing to transition. And I can pretty much assume the thought process in his head now that he, after listening to this interview, and this is, but I saw this push, going from having these conversations with people to spending years on hormones, years of mental health professionals, and getting to the point that somebody who's okay, you might not agree with, but has tried to be friends with you, that you push them away over a fake word. Because, sorry, I don't care what your thought process is, cisgender is a fake word. And then I hear stories like what the Starlings have gone through, and I just go, part of this is fueled by a medical profession that is pushing this ideology. And they've been pushing this on these kids. And I watched Ari. I knew Ari when he was 100% male. Little effeminate, but still dressed in male clothing. Could work on, or pretty good mechanic, all the way to the point that he removed certain body parts. Didn't make him any less male, except hormonal levels. But this is, I saw what happened to Ari, and now Ari's regretting all of this. He has realized that this is bad for him. And I think about these kids that are being raised up. Oh, you can't compete as a guy, so you must be feminine. This is what they're being told. You need to dress up like a woman. You need to take the hormones. You need to, and if it gets too hard for them to be convinced that you should compete as female, well, we need to cut off certain body parts. This is what's being told to these kids. And I'm fed up with it. I heard Ari's interview and I was just like, I'm glad to see that Ari now realizes that no, he shouldn't have gone down that path. But this was a path fueled by people that should have been able to tell them, not just Ari, but to tell all of them, hey, look, you've got problems. We need to work on the problems, because I know what fueled Ari's descent. And it had nothing to do with gender, sexuality. Now, the sexuality fueled some of it, but not the gender part. And that should have been worked out. The problems from that should have been worked out long before any push into transgenderism. But hey, I just am giving my opinion here. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.